Happy Friday, you guys. We are live this fabulous Friday on the first day of May. It took every fiber of my being to not play the in sync, "It's gonna be May." So now instead I've just sang it, and that's on the internet forever for everyone to see me singing poorly. I'm sorry about that. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. I am so pumped to have these two incredible guests on today. A really funny story how I got to meet the people that are on today. But before I introduce you to our guests, I want to play a clip for you because we are taking it to the next level here on Pretend Talk Show. So everybody, please check out the trailer for Pillow Talk, the series, which is premiering exclusively on Instagram TV. It is hilarious. And let's take a look at the trailer right now.
You may be the nicest guy I've ever had in my life.
You were by far the best drunken purchase that I've ever made.
Rolling.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Really great film, right?
It was a lot more disturbing than I remember.
Cool. Yeah. Yes, I love it. Oh my God, you guys, this show is amazing. I've been watching it on Instagram, which is, again, like I told you, where it's showing, where it's premiering and airing. It is so good. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming to the show the executive producer, creator, and star. There's two different people here, Mr. Jordy Altman and Miss Aubrey Bowen.
Yay!
We did it, I think, right? I think we got it to work.
Thank you so much for having us on, Ashley.
Oh, you guys, I'm so excited to have you. I love technology that we can do this. We can have our own talk show.
Yeah. You put this together yourself, right?
Yeah, you know, I got some time on my hands. I love that spirit, though, because you guys, I mean, not that you are any strangers to being creators and talent in your own right. Certainly, we'll get into some of your backstory and your history. But I love that you guys just went out there and released a whole amazing, beautifully produced series on Instagram TV. So whichever one of you guys wants to take it away, why don't you tell us a little bit about the series and kind of the inspiration behind it? Maybe Aubrey, that's probably the good question for you to tackle.
Probably. Yeah, so it's based on true events. And
yes.
It's about yes, embarrassingly so. Yeah, it's about a heartbroken woman who goes through a breakup and gets drunk one night and orders a boyfriend pillow online and forgets about it. And then he shows up 2 days later. Thank you, Amazon Prime. And it's about how she sort of gets back to herself with the help of this boyfriend pillow, who she names Tom Hanks.
The world's greatest man. What else would you name your boyfriend pillow?
Yeah.
Is that the actual pillow? The pillow that's in the series, is that the actual pillow that you?
Yeah. So it is true. So based on true events, I was in and out of, like, you know, this kind of toxic relationship, and I was lonely and I wasn't sleeping well, and I thought that this pillow was going to be weighted, and I was like, oh, if I was so sad. Oh, if I can just have an arm around me at night.
I get it.
And so, you know, drunk me ordered this thing, forgot about it, and then it showed up and it was horrifying.
Did it come with the blue shirt? It was already dressed?
Yeah.
That is exactly how it came, and it's really light. I don't know if you can tell. I think you can probably tell in the series that it's light. It's not weighted.
Yeah. So it looks like a regular pillow.
Yeah, it's
really just a pillow with a dangling arm. That's literally what you bought.
I love it. So, Jordy, how did you guys hook up? How did you two come to work together and build this series out? Tell me about that process.
Sure. So Aubrey and I've known Aubrey for over 10 years. Aubrey and I went to college together at the University of Kansas. Go Jayhawks, Rock Chalk. And she and I were, we moved to LA around the same time as well. She's an incredibly talented actress. She's a very talented writer. And this is an idea. We've always kicked around the idea of working together on something in some capacity. And
You left out the most interesting part.
what's that?
The most interesting part, we dated for 5 years.
Oh,
What?
right. I always forget that.
Oh my God, is he the reason that you have this pillow?
No.
No, thank God.
Yeah, as soon as she said toxic relationship and then brought up the fact that we dated, I was like, I really hope that we don't make that
No.
confusing.
Yeah, I have to clarify.
Yeah, so we dated for a while in LA. We both went our separate ways, started dating other people, and always wanted to work together on a project and try and find the right one. And so after Aubrey ended up buying this pillow, and we'd been talking all about this, idea that she'd been kicking around. When she actually wrote the script and handed it to me, I looked at it and said, we can make this. Like this may be the one. This is one of the best things that you've written. I think that we can shoot this in a weekend. Let's just get up and do it. Enough. Let's, just stop putting stuff on the back burner. This is the one that we're going to pull the trigger on. And sure enough, this script not only resonated with me, but it resonated with a couple other people who wanted to invest in the production. We were able to put together a pilot pretty quickly. And as soon as we started shopping around the pilot, we found 2 more investors who said, let's make this a full 5-minute series, 8 episodes, let's get it done. It took us about, the pilot was made back in 2017, right, Aubrey?
Oh, wow.
2018.
Maybe, yeah.
I
2008.
think we released it in 2018.
That's right.
So you made the pilot unfunded. That was like what you took to shop around to potential investors, or?
Mm-hmm. So we
Great.
made we made the pilot first, and then based off of that, got a full 8-episode order. We're able to crank those out. And basically, the entire production took about, from shooting the pilot to finishing the finale, it took about a year.
Wow.
And we were able to put it together. We've been shopping it around for a while. There's still some interested parties, but as you know, the quarantine has kind of turned everything upside down.
Yeah.
And one of the ways that we decided to, the way we decided to strategize and release this was to put it out on Instagram TV. People are hungry for content, people are on their phones, and people want to watch. And so
I love it.
yeah, Aubrey and I were just, hey, we're sick and tired of keeping it under wraps. We got to put this out.
Yeah, we've been sitting on it for so long.
Yeah,
And,
it feels.
we'd had a screening for all the cast and crew of the whole season, and we'd gotten such great feedback from everyone, and I think that's when we sort of realized, oh, we have something really special here. And now it's like, why would we keep sitting on it? Why don't we, at a time where everyone's looking for joy and laughter, why not share it now?
Exactly. Couldn't come at a better time. And I love that. I love, I can't remember if we were talking about this before the broadcast, we were doing a little tech check or not, but like, why not? The playing field is more level than it's ever been. You have a really captive audience, and thank God you released it, because you were sitting on a treasure trove of talent, and I'm loving it. There's a moment, and I don't want to risk tech stuff here, but there's a moment when you first go to put the arm, Aubrey, around you.
I know.
And it's like this feeling of, you guys, if the show is so bite-sized, snackable, it is fabulous, delicious. Check it out on Instagram at Pillow Talk the series. But this moment in episode 1 where you go to put the arm around you and you're like, oh God. And it's visceral. I love it. I'm like, I'm in. You got me.
Actually, you nailed the face too. You nailed the face. That was a one take shot too.
It's so relatable. We've all felt that feeling. Yeah. What am I doing? Is this real?
Yeah.
God, there's so many things I want to talk to you guys about. I love the way that it is very clear that this is a professional production. Obviously, you both have backgrounds in production and creating. So it's that makes all the sense. But sort of from a creative perspective, Aubrey, were you at all inspired by Lars and the Real Girl? Have you seen that?
I have seen it, and people ask me about that, and I actually wasn't. However, as the process sort of went along, I wanted to make sure it steered clear of Lars and the Real Girl, in the sense that it was really important to me that April doesn't seem like she's crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I wanted to keep her as grounded as possible. So the big difference is she knows Tom Hanks isn't real. So, there's that little, she hasn't totally lost it yet.
I love it.
It's a public display of a coping mechanism.
He's ultimately a sounding board. And actually the moment that inspired the series was actually, I was just kind of looking at his hand and the stitching on it and thinking how weird it was. And then I just thought, how funny would it be to shoot a scene with this in a movie theater and you see this hand reaching into popcorn, and
possibly the most uncomfortable moment of the show so far for me.
Oh, it's really, so that's actually kind of what inspired everything else. So.
Yeah. So can I ask you guys both, it's almost unfair to be like, hey, everybody, you can get out there and make your own production. This was a seriously produced show. I mean, including like those locations. How did you get a movie theater? I mean, what was sort of that process for taking this to like the next level production?
That's a great question. We pushed each other pretty hard on seeing how far we could take this. I'm gonna give you a quick preface to this story. When Aubrey wrote the pilot, and we found that people were interested in it, and we were going to write more episodes, Aubrey was asking me like, "Hey, should I be writing with a budget in mind?" And she was asking some great questions from a writing perspective. And I said, as her producer, I was like, "Listen, I don't want to box you in. I don't want to give you these rules where you have to write within a limited capacity. Write whatever you believe is going to be the best script, and then we'll figure it out." And so she ended up writing this, I think it's episode 3, where they visit the movie theater. And I was like, okay, how are we going to do this? And
I will say, let me just chime in. I did write with location in mind. Even though he said those things, it was still, because we wanted to actually shoot it, it was like, okay, how far can we take it realistically?
Mm-hmm.
And you realistically had access to a movie theater? Because that would be like, in my mind, I'm like,
that's
what? Tough.
Guess what? The best part? That wasn't a movie theater.
Get out of here?
No.
What?
Aubrey, you want to take it?
Yeah, so I study at Stuart Rogers Studios in NoHo, and we have our main theater that we study in, and then we also have this little theater down the street called the Raven. And I knew that the Raven had these great old kind of like torn up seats that made it look like a movie theater. And so, Stuart let us have it for super cheap. And we transformed it into a movie theater.
Yeah, you did. You sold me on it. I fully bought that was a movie theater. Wow, what a mark of a good producer writer combo that you, Jordy, didn't box in your creative, and that Aubrey, that you worked with production to like figure it out, make it possible.
You say that, and I do want to make sure that Aubrey's participation is recognized not only as the writer, the star, the creator, but she was so involved in every facet of production as well, because she is a very hungry artist, where like I've worked with, writers, creators, and stars who just are just like, I'm only going to do this one thing, and then wash my hands of it, only focus on this. Aubrey wanted her hand in everything, not only to help with the decision-making, but just to learn, and to have somebody there who's that hungry and wants to help makes a production so much better. And so
I don't think I don't think people have the luxury anymore. My perspective from where I'm sitting, and we will get into some of your production prowess, Jordy. I don't see that statue anywhere behind. Jordy happens to be an Emmy-winning producer. But I think that, you know, and Aubrey, certainly you can probably speak to this intimately, but as an actor, a host, a creator, you don't have the luxury anymore. I really mean this, feel this, and you can tell me if you think this is true too, Jordy, from your perspective, but I don't think people have the luxury anymore of just showing up and saying, I'm just this one thing, and that's all I'm gonna do. I'm just showing up to be the face. Like, you can't get out of here. There's no room for that anymore. You have to be involved, it seems like. What do you guys think?
Well, I also have no interest in just being one thing, just because, and not to say there's anything wrong with that. I just think it's so fun to learn all these different aspects, because I think it only makes you a stronger actor. It makes you stronger across the board as an artist. You know, I always say arm yourself with knowledge, and yeah, it's fun. I mean, yeah, I don't know, Jordy.
Did you have any production experience, Aubrey? Because before I get over to Jordy, did you have any like production experience prior? I know you're an experienced actress, but did you have any? You know, how did you were you taking writing classes? How did you craft this, you know, wonderful script?
It's sort of I got lucky. I don't know. I am a writer. Like I wrote poetry and stuff though. This was the first thing I've ever written for film. So I really got really lucky in that sense, that it sort of turned out as good as it did.
You're those people we rag on, like, oh, I just tried it and it came out like perfectly. Oh, it was just my first time acting and it was great.
Oh,
you're that person.
You would have known that I'm a star.
That's ever happened with.
Well, Jordy, I know you have some background in acting as well. So can you talk to us? I feel like we have that kinship as well, because I came out and I started in production and then I wanted to do some acting. So you kind of ride the line between, and you appear, I think it's starting in episode 3, as a talent in the show as well. So can you tell us about sort of straddling the line between producer and talent as well?
I would love to answer that question. You know, I like many people who moved out to LA, I moved out to act, and I have a long background, and I was a commercial actor for a number of years. Perhaps you recognize me from my McDonald's commercial. From
I thought that was you.
15 years ago. Yeah, sounds familiar. It's something that, as you know, Ashley, when you act and you're part of production, you get to see the stuff in front of the camera and the stuff behind it. I have been my entire life just so hungry to be a part of the industry and a part of production that when I got an opportunity to be a producer behind the camera, I just wanted to be on set. So I took it, and I've been very lucky and very fortunate the past couple of years to get more work as a producer than as an actor. And so as a performer, you know, you kind of miss that stuff every once in a while. I've been out of the audition game for a while, but Aubrey, bless her heart, wrote me into an episode and said, I wrote this with you in mind. And I don't know if that's a compliment or not, because the character that I play is kind of an asshole. Oh, can I curse on here? He's kind of a jerk.
Oh, we just did. Yeah. I love it.
He's kind of a jerk. It's fun because, you know, like, you get to take the break. Like, when you're behind the camera, when you're producing it, you have a laundry list of tasks that need to be done all simultaneously, all at the same time. And when you get the chance to just take off the producer cap and throw on the sleeveless sweatshirt and, you know, goof around for an hour or two, it's a good break. It's a lot of fun to get to exercise that acting skill.
That was a strong wardrobe choice, and I like it. I was like, where do you find a zip up sleeveless sweatshirt? Props to wardrobe.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know where our wardrobe found it, but I'm glad they did. It really helped me settle into the character.
How big was, speaking of, you know, the crew that you're working with, I'm like so remiss to even call it an indie production, because it just wasn't. I mean, it's so well done. But how big of a crew size are we talking to make this show?
We had about 15 crew members total.
And did you actually end up shooting it over a weekend?
Yeah.
One weekend.
Not the entire series. We were pretty streamlined. The pilot took 2.5 days to shoot, and then when we went to series order, we worked 4 weekends, 2 days and 3 day shoots, splitting up and cutting together episodes based off of location.
Okay. So I happen to know that there's some people who are joining the show right now, joining the live stream, who don't know what a series order is, namely my mom and dad. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
So can you guys just kind of, in the most layman terms possible, sort of explain what it means to a pilot and a series order? Those are words that I know I take for granted as understanding, but like maybe some people don't know what that process is like. Can you kind of walk us through it in the most accessible terms?
Absolutely. Do you want me to answer, Obs, or do you want to take this?
You can take it. The audio's cutting out a little bit for me.
So a pilot is basically a proof of concept, and it's called a pilot because you want it to take off. This is a small, isolated, usually an episode of something. If you're trying to make a TV show, it's an isolated episode in which you show to people and say, hey, this is the story that I want to tell. If you like it enough, I would love to have your commitment as an investor to make sure we can tell this entire story. Sometimes that pilot becomes the first episode of a show. Other times the pilot just exists to sell, and then they create a new first episode that would replace it. And a series order is what networks or investors will ask for, and that is a certain number of episodes in a season. So we created a pilot, which we sold, and that became our episode 1. And the series order was 1 season for 8 episodes of 5 minutes apiece.
That was the most beautifully, succinctly, right? Take us to film school, Jordy. That was so good.
I didn't go to film school. I went to KU. I was a theater brat. But I'm glad if I could drop some knowledge, I'm glad that I'm able to do so.
I'm embarrassed to admit that I didn't know that it was called pilot because it's meant to take off.
Yeah.
That's new. I've sold pilots myself, but I have no idea. So where did you guys, within shopping this around, did you have an ideal place that you wanted this to go? How did you land with your, who bought your show, basically?
So we shopped it around to a couple different places. We ended up not selling it to anyone in particular. One of our clients that we were working with for a while is an online distributor or an online streamer called Sika TV, which if you've never heard of them, I highly recommend it. Even though we didn't end up partnering with them, they are a great platform for indie filmmakers like ourselves who make short form bite-sized content. They're strictly web series and 5-minute shows that all exist on the streamer. We have found, and I'm sure Ashley, you've experienced this as well, that the idea of a 5-minute show is still new and it's still young. So when you're selling it or you're taking these meetings, it's still, even though it's pretty commonplace for people who are in the industry like us, it's still a new and novel idea to a lot of people who have been in the industry for a long time. It's hard to sell, and ultimately we're selling a product. It's hard to sell ads, which is how a lot of these TV shows make the revenue. It's hard to sell ads on a 5-minute show because there's only one or there's no commercial breaks. So where does it exist? It usually exists online with pre-roll or, end roll or mid-roll. I can't remember what the credits are. The ads are that take place afterwards, but it's usually pre-roll. And so we've shopped it around to all these different online distributors. And ultimately, some of the deals looked good, some of the deals did not. There were some exclusive rights that we weren't prepared to give up. So ultimately, we decided that we were just going to release it ourselves. We're the full owners, and our investors are partners now, and they have given us the blessing to say, put it out, and let's see if we can get a season 2 out of it.
I love it so much. So is that kind of the goal for the show then? Is that where you guys are hoping for, is get some great exposure on this show and then see if, if there's a partner that makes sense for a season 2?
Yeah, Aubrey, why don't you take that? Because you've had some very specific goals with this show since the very, very beginning.
Tell us about it, Aubrey.
I wasn't sure. I mean, you know, it would be great if this got picked up and got made into an actual show.
It is
It is an actual show.
No, I know. No, but you know what I mean? Like if it got picked up and made into like a half-hour comedy or something like that, you know, that would be cool, because our idea was sort of like, all right, well, that's the route that Insecure and High Maintenance and, you know, a bunch of shows took that route. And so, you know, it's rare, but it happens. So, you know, the idea is that the right people will see this, and then, yeah, hopefully maybe it gets turned into like a network show, or, you know, something for, I think this would probably, I see this living on like Netflix, something like that. But
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, smaller scale, definitely a season 2 would be great, you know.
So Netflix, if you were to go to a Netflix, that would be much more of like a, you'd have to go longer format with your scripts and episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have those
So
ideas in the can? Oops, sorry. Do you have those ideas in the can for longer episodes?
Yeah, I do. I do. I need to build those out a little more. But yeah, I mean, I think it would make for a really good show. And there's so many different routes that the story could take. And I just think, you know, at the end of the day, it's about a breakup, and and that's so universal. And the message is basically that even if you're alone, that doesn't mean that you have to be lonely. And I think
that's so sweet.
Well, that was something that I struggled with. And I think that's why people relate to this, because it comes from such a genuine place. You know, that was a big lesson that I had to learn, you know, in my 30s. I mean, I'm in my 30s, but that's a big lesson I had to learn kind of when I turned 30, was that, you know, reevaluating life, and that, yeah, like there's such, you know, we're from the Midwest, and there's such this kind of stigma of, you have to find a partner, you have to have kids, you have to get married, you have to do all of these things. And I've just never been about any of that. And so it's just sort of like that journey to, yeah, just because you're alone doesn't mean you have to be lonely. Like you know, I love my life, and I'm so fulfilled on every level. And I think that journey is something that a lot of people can relate to.
Yes.
Women.
I was just going to say, yeah, I'm from Virginia,
Yeah.
Aubrey, and I think I'm one of the last few that hasn't, or I think I probably am almost the last one from my, you know, high school class that hasn't gotten married or had kids yet. And I don't know, it's like Hunger Games style. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm gonna make it.
Yeah.
But so if I can ask then on a personal level, Aubrey, you know, are you still with Tom Hanks? How's it going? I haven't finished the episode,
He's
to
actually,
be fair, the series.
Aubrey, is he there with you?
He's in my closet right now. I can get him.
I would love to.
2 of them.
Oh, do you?
Oh yeah, we had to have
two
him
of
back.
them. Yeah, in case I spilled on one of them.
Stunt double style. I think you should actually reach out to real Tom Hanks and let him know he's the inspiration behind a whole new series.
We have been trying.
I know. Well, we've been trying to get to him. We don't really know how. I have his PR information, so I'm gonna reach out to his.
Is he in the chat?
Tom, you there?
Hi, Tom. We love you.
This is actually a great chance, though, if we could just to speak to some of the people that are with us. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, guys. Anybody in the chat? Looks like we've got some questions coming in from a Ben Cheney. That sounds familiar. That's my dad, guys.
Oh, hi, Ben.
He actually asked a great question, which is, what does the future look like? And I throw that to both of you guys. You can answer that with regards to the show, which we sort of talked about already, or your personal lives, or what your next project is. What's up ahead for you guys?
Obs, I'll let you feel that.
Career-wise, what am I doing? I'm writing a lot right now. I just finished polishing up a feature that I was hired to write, and right. And then I just wrote a half-hour pilot with a friend of mine that we're in the middle of tweaking, and we're gonna start shopping around soon. And then I'm outlining a new web series that I'm gonna start, kind of based on my job.
Oh my God. I was
day
thinking
job.
you were going to say something like, well, I'm going to go to the grocery store later today. I might go to my living room. But you're like, no, I'm taking over the world. And here's the 14 things I'm working on. That's amazing. How incredible.
Might as well.
Do you write by yourself? Do you write
Yeah.
with partners? What's your process?
I prefer writing by myself, but I'm very open to input, and I love hearing feedback from people. Writing with my friend, writing that half-hour pilot was interesting. We actually found a really great way of working together, which was we would sit in the same room on our laptops and open it in Google Docs because it's real. You can see it real time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so we talked about how we wanted the show to go and kind of knew how the pilot was going to be laid out. So we sat there and outlined it together, and she could see when I was stuck and would chime in, or she would see something I'd wrote and be like, oh yeah, or this. And it was amazing.
That is such a, I gotta say, like, that scares the living crap out of me, because to have somebody see my like brain coming out onto the keyboards live time, I am actually sweating thinking about it. It makes me so uncomfortable. That's so impressive. But I'm sure you have wine, right? Like that would help.
Supportive. Yeah, she's very patient and supportive. So.
Oh, that's amazing. Jordy, I want to get to what your future looks like as well, but we've got some great questions coming in the chat. Can I throw these at you guys? So if Tom Hanks, is Tom Hanks quarantining in the closet because he had COVID?
Oh,
Tom Hanks. That's a great question.
Thank you, Greg. Oh, Greg. Oh, Greg, that question is from one of the actors in the show, the ex-boyfriend. So,
hey, Greg.
Great job acting.
Greg Steinbrecher plays X.
Great job, Greg. And kudos to you both for being in your skivvies and looking so damn good on camera, because I salute you. Salad for lunch.
He's legitimately a model. And I was like, oh my God, I got to like cut down on the mac and cheese before I shoot this scene.
Oh yeah, you had to really cut down.
It's meant as a single serving for one.
Everybody knows that a box is a single serving. Cut that crap right out.
Love that line.
Common knowledge. If you guys haven't seen the show, there's a part about mac and cheese. I think episode 2 maybe. Yeah. Just get on the show if you haven't seen it already. Thanks, Greg, for tuning in. Great to see you. So Meg Sarix, sorry if I'm saying your last name right. If April was following stay-at-home orders, would she get Tom Hanks out of the box? Obs, you've secretly busted him out at some point. Ooh, yeah, good question. Have you like had some lonely moments where you've maybe brought out Tom Hanks for comfort? For real?
I might have had a drink or two with him.
I love it.
So funny. It's good company. You know?
He's a really good listener.
He seems like a good listener.
He is.
That's a funny question.
It is. You guys are funny. I like this group. Jordy, your turn. What does the future look like for you? What's up next? What are you working? Is there something shining on your face, like metal glimmering off of your face? Is there?
It could be.
Is it just? Oh, it was from the. Oh.
This is my Tom Hanks. So this is who I drink with every once in a while during quarantine when I get stuck. What am I working on right now? That's a great question. So I am currently a producer on a new Quibi show. So talk about like short form content. Maybe people are finally starting to embrace it a bit. And Quibi is the great experiment right now. I'm currently working on a 5-minute daily recommendation show on that platform called Fresh Daily. It's by Rotten Tomatoes. And the quarantine thing kind of turned everything on its head. So I'm producing from home, which is new for me. We have 2 hosts in the same way that we are sharing video streams with one another right now. We have our 2 hosts that live like 20 miles away from each other. We give them some recommendations of what TV and movies to watch. And then we hit record, have the 2 of them talk for about an hour about what they watched, what we think, or what they think we should be watching, review the shows, and then cut it down to 5 minutes and put it up on the app. It's very strange. Aubrey talked a bit about working in Google Docs. And I'm wondering if that's going to be part of our future now, this isolated collaboration where we're all putting our thoughts out on the page in real time and we're all just responding and working together in sync that way. It's interesting to work in that capacity, but we're kind of making it up as we go along. We're asking the questions and then also writing the answers. So that's what I'm working on right now, trying to figure out what this is exactly. And hopefully take what we've learned during this time and put it towards Pillow Talk Season 2.
I love it. You guys have had so many killer sound bites from today's show. I'm so loving your responses. Like whatever you just said, I'll be turning this into like a little clip, but something, asking the questions and figuring out the answers at the same time. I love that. And I actually think my personal take on it is like, great. Like look what technology can do for us all. I think it forces the content to be more compelling rather than just like being a flashy platform. It's like people are really here for the content of what you're making. And I think that everybody will be delighted to find Pillow Talk because it's so good and such good content. So I'm really excited for you guys. I can't thank you enough for being on the show today.
Thank
you for having us. This is so fun.
Isn't it, right? Our own talk show. Guys, check out, wait for Season 2. I can't wait. I'm rooting for it. I want to see it.
Aw, so do we.
Yeah.
Amen. So I'm going to show everybody where they can find Pillow Talk, the series, but is there anything else you guys want to let the folks know? Where they can find you, what they can be looking out for?
Yeah, I guess I'll start. I'll take that question.
Take it away.
So we released Pillow Talk on Instagram TV. If you want to find us on Instagram, it's pretty easy. It's instagram.com/Pillow Talk the series. And then Aubrey and I are both also on Instagram as well, where you can find updates about this series and some of the other projects we're working on as well. And my handle is @JordyAlt, JORDYALT. And I think Aubrey's is @TheCrazyPillowLady. Is that right? I'm trying to remember.
That's very close.
Okay.
Mine is @Aubrey says.
Yeah.
We'll put these links in the show notes as well, so that if anybody wants to, you can just click and follow the show. Well, you guys, that's going to wrap it up for us today. Thank you so much for being here. I love the show. I love getting to chat with you guys. I didn't even tell the world how I got to know Jordy.
We didn't.
Should I tell the world?
Yeah, we got time. I got some time.
We got time.
Look what time. Look at my watch. I'm not even watch. Like, time doesn't exist
What do we
anymore
have to
in
do?
quarantine. So let's take.
I love it. I love it because people are so much more open now to meet. We wouldn't have met maybe up in person and had this 45-minute chat together in real life, or in physical life. But the power of the internet brought us together, and it's actually. I was interviewing for a job. I think that you were leaving over at a show called The Talk. I hope it's okay to say that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think I was doing what a friend of mine told me to say, social listening, not stalking. So I was social listening and I was sleuthing around. And I found Jordy's page and I was like, wow, this guy is so cool. He's an actor, he's a producer, he's got it. This is awesome. Maybe he's on social media. And I think you were so kind to reply even to my message. I was going in for the interview and I was like, hey, are you in this job? What's it like? And you took my answer, you took my questions and gave me some fun answers. And then you were even more kind to agree to come on to the Pretend Talk Show. So power of the internet.
Well, happy internet. Actually, I can tell you, we may have met one another through just kind of social networking a bit, but through that, Yeah, right. But through that, I've been able to follow like everything that you've been doing as well, and you and I have kind of kept in this same circle. And I've been seeing the stuff that you've produced. I've been seeing what you've been working on, all because of that chance encounter. And I think you reached out to me on Instagram too. So everybody's on Instagram right now. So everybody's on Instagram. But yeah, I'm excited that we were able to meet, and I'm even more thrilled that we were able to do this. Thank you so much for organizing it.
Yeah, and Aubrey, just seriously, from one, not just woman, but creator, talent, I tip my hat to you. You made something really, really special, really fun, and I love it. It's a joy, and I can't wait for everybody who's on to go out and watch it right now. Instagram @Pillow Talk the series.
Thank you.
Great job, you guys. Thank you so much, and enjoy the first Friday of May. It's May.
It's gonna be May.
Thank you. Thanks for not leaving me alone in that.
I got you.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much. Everybody have a great weekend. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.